Today on the Relationship Renovation, we just sort of offer up a slice of our own life. We show you that even with the skills that we have and the knowledge that we've brought into our life, that it's not all rainbows and sunshine and unicorns.
We could have all the skills in the world and all the great intentions. Like, it's a struggle at times to prioritize your relationship, especially when you have kids and a business. It can feel really lonely.
Yeah.
And it sucks, but I also have that trust that we'll get through it.
And that it's hard to make a relationship work and that things get really complicated. So stay tuned.
Hello all, and welcome to the Relationship Renovation Podcast. I'm Tarah Kerwin.
And I am Tarah's husband, EJ Kerwin.
Hi, Tarah's husband.
Hi, how are you?
So today, I'm going to be super honest. I literally woke up and I was like, I'm not in podcast mode. Because we record on Fridays, try to record 2 episodes every Friday because we're super busy every other day of the week with our counseling center and all of that stuff, which is
Our
awesome.
life, yeah.
And I was like, I kind of thought about this and I was like, well, it's really like vulnerable to share our personal stuff when you're not feeling like great. But if you have listened to a lot of our podcasts before, or even just a few, like I think a lot of listeners know that I struggle with sadness and depression and, it goes in waves. Today was like not a good day, but I was like, maybe people need this today. And so I'm willing to be here and show up. And maybe it'll air and maybe it won't, and it doesn't matter.
I mean, it's a tough weekend for us because it's our anniversary tomorrow. We've been married 11 years tomorrow, and we had a plan. We were going to do a staycation. Tucson's got a lot of cool resort stuff, hotels and stuff. And so I called my parents up. They were going to take the kids and the dogs. Cats can do their own thing. We were going to go have a nice weekend together. We were going to have the kids come over for the second day we were there and have brunch and then have a day with them. And
I'm just so everyone knows, I fantasize about this because, again, I've accepted that our life is super busy and I love it. I'm super grateful for it, but we just don't ever get time ever alone. We
haven't gone out on a date since the holidays. We went to
so I've been daydreaming about this, just being at the pool with a margarita. I won't care if it's 50 degrees and just having space. And I think when I found out that our son has basketball tournaments for 13 hours that day, I just got crushed, right? Because that story I had for just a little bit of quality time with you. And it was okay, of course, this is what we do. Of course, I want to show up to Joe's games. But then it was just my feelings of hopelessness at times, or the overwhelm that I deal with comes in, and then you get stuck in that story, right? Is this really what life is right now? I want to be in Italy drinking red wine and eating bread at a cottage, or whatever you call them in Italy, a
Chateau.
villa.
Yeah.
A villa. There's chateaus in France. I wouldn't know.
Wouldn't know.
But, here's the thing. I'm always have that I've got to be my best self to show up for our podcast on Friday and have really good sleep. And then I'll have then it'll be great. And I'm letting go of that and being really vulnerable that maybe this is also what people need to hear, that we could have all the skills in the world and, all the great intentions. It's a struggle at times to prioritize your relationship, especially when you have kids in a business, and it can feel really lonely.
Yeah.
And it sucks, but I also have that trust that we'll get through it because of the skills we do have. It doesn't mean that it's not there. And so here we are.
Well, and I think it's an added sort of complication or an added struggle for us is the fact that one, I react differently, right? I don't have maybe the level of sadness or overwhelm that Tarah does. And so it's less destabilizing to me that it happened
Yeah.
which then, because we have a very different experience of the same stimulus, and this is a big thing with couples, right? Is like that, like the stimulus is the same. It's like, oh, your plans just got blown up.
Yeah.
They're not happening. So we both happen. That happens at the same moment, right? Like we both find out about the tournament in relatively similar proximity. Yours brings like all this sadness, this overwhelm, this feelings of hopelessness. Mine brings this like, sort of like drop your head, move forward. It's okay. Just deal with it. And then I think that then like had this like undercurrent all week of us just being like having totally separate experiences of it, which definitely doesn't help. Like I don't know whether I've been excellent at supporting you in this week.
Well, see, that's what happens then. Then I'm like, so we're not connected. So then I'm like, well, there's so many other worse things happening in the world and suffering, and me not being able to go and hang out and have a staycation. Like that's nothing. I totally minimize my experience to cut myself off from it. But then I start talking about it and I feel really sad. And I think that's what a lot of people do. And it doesn't matter. Like I'm suffering and it's really good to express my feelings around it. And I can't cut myself off from that. Like whether it's, other people are suffering more, I have to like be compassionate to myself that this is happening. And maybe people will be like, oh my God, get over your shit, girl. But at this point, I don't even care.
Yeah. I mean, have you felt comfortable this week coming to me and telling me about like how sad or overwhelmed or whatever?
No, because we've been so busy.
Like there just hasn't been space for it.
No, like even last night when we were sitting to watch The Bachelor, I looked at you and I just said, how are you? And you were like, fine. But that was like at 9:00 at night. And I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. That you felt like there's not even the space to go to him.
Well,
there's
then
not
it's
even the space to tell him about it.
Yeah. And then it's interesting because before we started our podcast, like flowers were delivered. And I was like, oh my God, they might have the wrong door. Like this is literally how easy I can cut myself off. And I opened up the note and it was like EJ saying, happy anniversary. And I'm like, holy shit, that's right. It's our anniversary tomorrow. Even though I've been totally sad that we couldn't celebrate it, I literally like cut it out of my mind.
Yeah.
So I could focus on like getting the kids ready, getting them to school, get me to gymnastics. And then I was like, oh my God, it's our anniversary tomorrow. And
yeah.
The whole reason why I'm like in this place anyway, it's funny at times. You almost have to laugh about it. And I know one day we will, but it's, how do you get through it? I woke up this morning and I knew it. I'm not going to be okay today for today's podcast. I'm feeling super sad. So I turn on my Tarah Brock podcast, which I love her. And I swear every time I'm going through something, her newest podcast, guess what it was? Handling Depression, Part 1. I was like, oh, it's perfect. And so I only get like 15 minutes to listen to that because of like the morning rush. But I'm going to listen to that because I know it makes me feel connected. So it's about like making sure, like, even though this is happening, like using your intentionality to not get too far from yourself, to not disconnect too much. Because just for me, Tarah Brock does it. I love her and I can hear her voice and I can be like, I know I will be okay. This will pass. But so many people don't have the opportunity to have resilience in that way. And so it's like they just then spiral into more downward place. And so I feel lucky that I get to have these moments where it's really hard and days or hours, but I also know it'll pass and I'll be okay because I have that. I've had it for a long time. When I was little, right? I'm a therapist for a reason. Things did not feel good, but I knew I would be okay. And that one day I would help others know that they would be okay.
Yeah.
But there's people that don't have that resilience factor and we see them. And the thing is you can grow it. You just have to find out what really feels soothing for you during uncomfortable moments. And sometimes you will cut off from yourself, but you'll come back to it, and.
Well, and what I see also as your partner is and I think it's important for people to hear this in what you're saying is yes, you have this like underlying, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. You come back to it. But I see you struggle between that and no, this is not okay. I'm not happy. This isn't where I should be.
It's that, yeah.
And as a partner of that, that's like, it's like I'm like trying to figure out like how do I get in there and support that? Because when you're in those moments and I see that look in your eyes that I know of just like, I'm not happy.
Yeah.
This is not what I want out of life. Like I feel powerless. I feel disconnected. Sometimes I feel like blamed, like but I know a lot of that's my stuff that I feel like it's my fault that she's not happy.
That just feels good, right? Like, how dare you give me these 4 kids? My gosh.
Yeah. And so it's like, I'm trying to always like figure out like this morning I could see that. And I take cues from other things. This is an important thing for listeners out there. Like I remember the times where you're not in that place, or the times when you've been in that place and you've told me this is what I need you to be. And so I access that and try to go like, cause like you've told me many times, I just need you to be playful and funny in these moments and not. Yep. And so I was like trying to be a goofball. I was like me and Joe were like dancing around you this morning. And it was like, wow, shit, this is not working either, man. She's like, she looks like she wants me to get the hell out of here.
It's like every time is different.
Yeah.
But it's human nature to get stuck in like, is this really my life or my overwhelm? And then, right, there's also like the amount of suffering that our world endures, that we endure, like, the busy lives we have. And I was just thinking about this today because when we go away for the summer, like, and we're more in nature, like I come back to myself. Like I think of, we have a blended family. We have 2 businesses. We have 4 kids. We have 4 animals. We have 15 staff. We have so much going on. And I was like, oh my God, it's my nephew's birthday today. And I've got to set a reminder on my phone at 3:15 to call him and sing happy birthday. Like there's like I don't know if it's just our life, but I think a lot of people relate. We do not have space for anything anymore. We are so overstimulated by emails and social media and work and this, that it's like, I feel like it's truly creating so much anxiety and sadness in the world. And then
or like complete like disconnection of just like getting like I do, just getting caught up into it all and just like plunge forward, go forward, go forward, go forward.
I'm like, I'm scared. Like, yeah, I have to set a reminder on my phone to call my nephew on his birthday. Like, that's crazy to me. But I'll do it because I'll forget because I got all these other stimulus happening in the environment. And I'll be like, it'll be 10 o'clock tonight. I'll be like, holy shit, I forgot to freaking call Oliver on his 10th birthday. Oh my God. Like, I know this. So I set alarms.
Yeah. What's the alarm that we set for ourselves about ourselves this weekend? Like, it is our anniversary. Tomorrow morning, I have to run my 10-mile training. So I got to wake up super early to do that. Then we have like a few hours before we go off to basketball games all day long. Like, what's our alarm? Like, what are we doing to somehow feel good about the fact that we've made it 11 years?
You're going to cook me a
there's
steak.
Been some joy. I'm going to
Saturday night or Sunday. But here's again, I'm kind of transitioning this to resignation versus acceptance, because the couples we get into our center, or even some people listening that send us the emails, they are in this place of resignation. This isn't sustainable anymore. Something needs to change. I've allowed, like, even though I'm still uncomfortable, I've accepted that this is our life. It's a beautiful life. Like, I wouldn't miss it if something god awful happened. Like, I would be so damn sad that I'm not going from 6 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. Like, but it's those moments where you have to be like, okay, I have a choice right here. I could either go this way or I could go this way. One way is like, I don't want to do this anymore. I am done. I'm sick of this shit. Or I'm going to accept that this is how it is right now. It's not going to be like this forever. I know how hard we've worked in our relationship to have an awesome family, to have an awesome practice, to have an awesome podcast, and you just remind yourself. It's called positive resourcing during times of, suffering, that you try to remember the good and the positive too.
It's interesting though, like as you were saying that, like I realized like how much of that responsibility though lays on you, because I can't be the one who provides that resource for you, because that's not like.
No, but you trying in those times, even though it totally failed attempt today, like do not dance around me at 6 a.m. when I am in a place of fucking Sabbath, hopelessness, overwhelm. No, but I love that you tried, and that just reminds me, like he's still trying. You didn't get mad at me. You weren't like, oh my God, how you used to be. You literally tried. So even though it was a failed attempt, because of how I was, you tried. That keeps me in a place of acceptance. That's so powerful, like that you're working too.
Oh, I'm listening,
Yeah.
I'm listening to you. I care about you. I know. And then I know like, I know that the way our life is and how it matches up to what are your challenges like, right? Like, cause even like, so last night we were watching a show and like our daughter is like doing flips onto the couch in front of us, right? It's and like I'm able to kind of tune it out. Like I'm able to just be like,
so
okay,
annoying,
whatever. She's just like, but I could sense like things overwhelm you. Like
it is 9:15 at night. This
well,
is
just input.
my time
like
to
stimulus.
watch my really crappy reality TV show.
Yes.
Get the fuck
But
out.
like my point is that like that like stimulus overwhelms you.
Yeah.
And here we are in a life that we've created that has like massive stimulus. It is like it is constant, except when we're sleeping. And even then we're getting kicked by a 10-year-old. And so it's like, so it's like it's amazing how the universe, how God has put you in this situation where the exact thing that's like the hardest for you is like when things are overstimulating, you're in a life that is overstimulating. There's like, that is objectively true.
Well, it's, again, I always feel like life gives me what I'm supposed to take and learn from so that I can help others. It's how I've always functioned since I was a little girl. I remember that. And so I just don't stop trying ever. Yeah. For some reason, I haven't ever hit that low where I don't want to try anymore, which is awesome.
It's hard when I see you get to that place where you're on that, though. Sometimes it feels like you get to that precipice of like, maybe this is too much.
But look at 11 years tomorrow.
Fuck yeah.
Still here.
We did it.
Yeah.
We've done it so far. So far, good. And your favorite saying is that bad rehearsal, good performance.
Yeah, always.
You love that saying. Why is that saying, do you think, so like resonant to you?
I think because like my Aunt Nancy actually said that to me, because like just when things go awry and like nothing that you thought would go well, but then it feels okay.
Yeah.
Like it always turns into something okay, even though if it's not okay. So that's where bad rehearsal, good performance comes
When
in.
does the rehearsal end and when do we get to the performance? Because are we almost there?
It ebbs and flows.
Yeah.
Sure.
I feel like we're constantly doing both.
So, but anyway, yeah. So thanks for listening and for letting me be vulnerable. And I'm glad that even though I wasn't my best self today, I showed up.
You are always your best self. You are always your best self. Even when you're a grumpy poo-poo pants.
Thank you, E.
All right. Well, happy anniversary, Tarah.
Happy anniversary.
Yeah.
Last year I totally forgot. So at least I'm like one
and that
day
made
ahead.
you sad. Like I did
I
like had like a card and a present for you.
Yeah.
And I knew you had forgotten. I thought it was going to be cute to surprise you that, hey, it's actually our anniversary today. And then you like started crying as soon as I gave you the present.
Yeah. And that I'm sure lingered to today.
Yeah.
It's, again, this like our life is really busy and I'm grateful for it. I'm not complaining, but there are times where it just feels overwhelming.
Yeah. You want Calgon to take you away.
I do. Yeah.
Well, thank you, listeners. Thanks for, witnessing our life. And, and thank you for, also like when people write in, just as we try to normalize their struggles, when you write in, it normalizes our struggles. It makes me feel like, wow, like, yeah, we're not alone in this. Cause, because no matter what, that's just the nature of suffering. Is it makes us feel like we're very alone. Nobody else knows how screwed up life is for us, or how trapped we feel, or blah blah blah. And we're all in this together, man. It's like the human condition, right? We're just trying to figure out how to be the best people we can be, how to love the people we love, how to
authentically be yourself, right?
yeah.
I could have not shown up today and be like, what are people going to think? They see me crying all the time on our podcast. Oh my God, I'm such an imposter.
Yeah.
But I know I'm not. I'm just being true and genuine. And, people will love it or hate it. It doesn't matter because I feel safe expressing it. And that's the most important piece, because you got to get it out. You can't keep it in.
Don't carry it, man. Don't carry it. That doesn't get you anywhere. All right. Well, thank you guys all. It's always a pleasure to be here. Thank you, Tarah. I love you very much.
Thank you. And as always, take care of yourself. Take care of each other. Bye-bye.
Bye.